the nozzle glide. Flow rate tight, keep it smooth like a West Coast ride. Bed tip, hot adhesion locked in place. Every print I drop, got that Cali style.
Okay, so I've got most of my parts designed for my, if you saw my post there on YouTube and on social media, yet another product for this accessory rail. I just have some kind of weird addiction to this accessory rail right now. So this is a K-cup holder, and you can see it just stands up like this. Holds a dozen K-cups. I went ahead and created the geometry to slide onto the accessory rail. And initially I had a hole through it. That way I could put a pin in it. So it was feeling authentic, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I didn't really need it. My tolerances are tight enough. Put my logo in it, which is unusual. I don't typically do that. But I've got all these printed. So right now what I'm waiting on is over on the printer. We've got the base and two more rails. And you can see the base there. It has it kind of set at a 45. So they're turned at a 45 just to get the rings as close as possible. So this one's straightforward, but the next one is over this way, turned at a 45, and then moved back so all the rings stay in alignment. So there'll be one set like this, one set straight, and then one set like this, and there's kind of an arc on a kind of a square frame. I did some chamfers on it, but I didn't round it off a whole lot. I wanted it to still feel kind of mechanical, and these rings aren't super strong, but all they have to do is hold up a K-cup. So I think we're in pretty good shape. I didn't have a K-cup here to model, but just kind of did my homework online and figured I could figure out, you know, the proper size to make them. And just got the, got the design all done. And I mocked it up in Fusion 360, and I actually could see what it looked like prior. The only thing I really changed was so basically how I create the holes for these things is I'll put everything together, right? And then I'll do a combine cut. So whatever this geometry is down in the base, I'll do a combined cut and then keep the tools. That way, then I can shut these bodies off, and then I see my base with my holes cut in it. So pre-assembled all these, set them at the correct, degrees, 45 degrees, and made sure they were all lined up. And then created the base around them, extruded it up 10 millimeters, and then did a combine with all those bodies and cut. And then keep the tools, shut all the bodies off, and then boom, I've got a base with the holes in it. So the only other thing I had to do was go back in and offset the face. I do like 0.03 of a millimeter just to give myself just a little bit more clearance, because even though this is exact tolerance and the base is exact, because I cut it from the exact tolerance of this, so it should be a dead-on fit. But the reality of it is this is 3D printing, so I give myself, a few thousandths additional room. It's still going to be super tight. You'd have to give yourself more room than that if you ever wanted to remove it. But for my purpose, I want it to go in. I never want it to come back out. So in that case, just like 0.03 of a millimeter was enough to just give me a little extra wiggle room. That way I can get them down in there, get them seated, and I won't have to worry about them coming back out. So everything on the texture plate face down. So it has that nice, anything that's customer facing, I try to do face down. That way it has a nice texture to it. And that the base in the printer is actually upside down right now. That way it has the plate texture on the top. The only thing it really doesn't have, the rail has it on the back. But, overall, I think it has a nice finish to it. It is 3D printed, but it doesn't scream I'm 3D printed. So I think it'll be nice. So it holds a dozen K-cups. And as soon as those parts get done, which I don't imagine will be until tomorrow before I get a chance to assemble it. But then I'm going to have to stop somewhere and get some K-cups just to make sure they fit right. I might have to reduce the size of these rings. I might have to make them bigger. But for the most part, I think I'm in good shape. I think I had a trusted source for the information, so hopefully everything works out. And then after this is done, I'll get some photos, get it filled up with K-cups, get some pictures taken, put it on Etsy, put it on eBay, and then as soon as Amazon approves my Amazon, what is it, handmade account, then I'll get it up on Amazon too, and we'll see if we can get some of them sold. But I think it's pretty slick. I think anybody that's like a tactical gun kind of fan, black rifle coffee kind of guy is gonna love the shit out of this. I love it. I think it's great. I'm like, I don't even drink that much coffee, but I think I'm about to put this in my kitchen. All right, guys, I'll see you in a bit. I did exactly what you're not supposed to do. I opened the door, snuck, and got my base out. It was already done with the base. It's still doing the rails. But it went ahead and let me get one of the towers installed. You see, nice tight fit. Beautiful, slipped right down in there. I'll have to kind of play with it, make sure it's level, make sure, you know, it's not leaning. And I don't know, I may put a drop of CA on it just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. But you can see that is a beautiful fit with just 0.03 of a millimeter, hundredths of a millimeter of additional clearance to slip right down in there nice and tight. It's nice and stable. K-cups don't weigh too much. Now normally I would have to put more of a foot out here, but I don't think that K-cups weigh enough to tip it over. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Because they'll have additional weight back here in the back that's off that axis. So we'll see. We'll see. I may end up extending it forward just a little bit. We'll just have to see. Enough room to get your hand in there and pop a K-cup up and grab it. No, pop it up. I didn't want to put too many on a rail, and then you're like have to take the top one out to be able to get to the next row. Kind of a pain. But yeah, I'll just have to keep an eye on how tippy it is. Like if I feel like the user could make it fall over, I may have to extend out this front just a little bit more. But I think it's good. I think it's good. So I kind of designed that so it could be back up against a wall. It didn't have to be, you know, like some of them are like round and big, and you can't just tuck them back out of the way. This, I wanted to be able to tuck it back out of the way. So as soon as the other two rails finish, I'll get the holders installed, and we'll see what the finished product looks like. But so far, I am loving it. I think it looks great. The finish is beautiful on the top. Got a nice little chamfer. Just on the front, none on the back, none on the bottom. It's still square all around, so just a chamfer here in the front. But other than that, I think it looks good. I might have to put my level on it, make sure it's like level. I don't know. It looks like it's leaning forward just a little bit. All right, she's done. Now, one huge advantage about making your own products without, you know, getting someone's STL and selling it, there's zero competition. There's not another person out there selling this exact product. Even if they tried to copy it, it wouldn't be exactly the same as mine. So this is a unique product that I'm bringing to market. I don't think I've ever seen one. That doesn't mean it'll sell. That just means it's unique. Let's have a look here. The finished product, you can see everything looks good. It is not tippy. It's not tippy at all. Those side ones going in definitely stabilized it nicely. As you can see, they're all at the same level. Everyone's set evenly. I think the hardest part will be photographing it. It'll have to be full of K-cups for you to really get the, because really when you're looking at it, you're just kind of looking through it, right? You're not like getting a gist of it. But no, I think it turned out great. A dozen K-cups. with the nice black accessory rail, nice base to it. All right, so that's it, guys. Next up, I got to take some photos of it. I'm going to do that in my usual spot, and I probably won't do that till tomorrow because it's about 8 p.m. I'll probably take some measurements just across the top here just to make sure everything's perfectly aligned. Do I put a drop of CA on the bottom just to make sure everything stays where it should be? That's a good question. Trust me, it's tight. It's not going anywhere. But it may be worth putting a drop of CA on it, just so in shipping to the client, if something was to happen, it would get bumped or something, that it wouldn't shift, it wouldn't move. They're not going to receive it crooked where, you know, the gaps are weird or anything. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I may just put a couple of drops of CA glue down here on the bottom in these joints just to let it soak in and kind of solidify everything and make sure it's permanent. But other than that, I love it. I think it looks great. All right, guys, later.